Today we're going to talk about fighting dogs. This morning we'll cover dogs that are not getting along within the family, and then this afternoon we'll talk about dogs that don't get along with strange dogs outside of the family. So they're really two separate issues, and I deal with them very differently. I find this morning's talk, dogs who don't get along within the family, obviously a lot more difficult to deal with because there are more emotions involved, especially with family members. It's just like siblings fighting. So, and it's not to say that they can't learn to get along, but many times they can't. So wolves, again, going back to it, have this rigid, linear, gender-separated dominance hierarchy. So the social order among dogs in most breeds is never going to mature. So we really, again, don't know. It's sort of, we have to keep thinking that it remains very loose. So if we were to summarize it, it involves repeated conflicts over resources, and I would take out the word scarce, but it might not be. It can be scarce, but it doesn't have to be, whereby the same dog is going to win access to that resource. All right, now, the problem is that dogs live in our homes, and the environment changes all the time. So the situations are very contextual. You have to, if you're going to tear it apart and look at it, you really have to know in what context do these animals threaten or fight. Some considerations before working with the dogs. What you've got to do is pinpoint the triggers and any contextual issues. That's important. So what I do is I send the clients home and I tell them to keep a log of exactly where their concerns are. What exactly happened, when, where. What was in the environment. Okay, so who was home. So that we get a better idea of exactly how to work on it. The emotional feelings. I want to know is, like for example, that gentleman. He was much more attached to the older dog than he was the younger dog. So is that going to be now a workable situation if we're really not all on the same page? Everybody's got to be on the same page in order for it to be successful. And if he really didn't like the younger dog, I'm not going to have great success with that. This was basically the first visit. Alright, so that's Brooke, that's the middle one. That's Penny, the older one. Now remember, they've been separated for 2 years. Huge house. So they're able to be separate. They've got gates up. Husband is a nervous wreck right now. Zoe is upstairs right now. You can hear her screaming. Look how stressed these dogs are.
Very stressed.
Especially when you take a look at her ears back, wide mouth panting, lots of lip licking. And vocalization. They're not barking at anything. They're just barking. Oh, I was going to bring Penny out.
Start heading to the door first, but don't go out.
So that's going out to the back deck. So we talk about hardwire. Sometimes it just disappears. When we talk about hardwired learning, the dog's instinctual behavior is triggered, and then the owner might do one of several things. Maybe they support it, okay, where they allow the dogs to work it out. So maybe you've got a dog that's bred for fighting, and the owner allows the dog to work it out. Okay, so it can be supported. They discourage it where they think they're punishing it, but they're really nagging. So a punishment should end the behavior, and if it doesn't end the behavior, it's really not punishment. They might attempt to eliminate it without success, so they try a variety of things. And then now you put the dog in conflict again, and there's anxiety, and then we go to aggression. So again, it's going back to educating owners. Again, owners may have been told the dog needs training, so the owners may have attempted training, so they took him to a training class to suppress the behavior, and now they say to you, I tried it, it didn't work. You've probably heard that too. So the more we educate people about what behavior modification entails, the better the chance of success. Let's get them up a little bit faster if you can. I want a nice trot. Start with a sit. That's okay. Good, good. All right, let's go. Towards Alta. Hands low. Look where you're going. Yep. Cut them off. It's okay. Do the sit. Good. So hang on. Sue, right? Suzanne. Okay. One reason and it just reminded me of why we don't go in this direction. Because people tend to helicopter the dog. It's like turn, wing. Okay, around. You can't wing the dog. If anything, he's got to stay out of your way. You can't use your arms that way.